Hello everyone, welcome to the Automata press conference at the Zurich Film Festival. On my right at the end, the director of the film, Gabe Ibánez. That was a bit timid, yeah? And right next to me, a Hollywood star that doesn't need introduction, but he has been very versatile in his career. He is equally comfortable in comedies and dramas. We've seen him in a lot of Almodovar movies. We've seen him as The Mask of Zorro, Desperado, lately Expendables 3, and my personal favorite, the ever so cute Puss in Boots, Antonio Banderas. And you're a producer on the film as well, very involved in the project. So the first question to the both of you is how did this passion project come about?
Well, he can explain probably to you how he initiated the process. To me, it came by the time that I was shooting with Pedro Almodovar, The Skin I Live In. The actress in the project, Elena Anaya, she brought to me the script. She previously did a movie with Gabe Ibánez called Hierro. And she spoke beautifully about him and his talent as a filmmaker. And so during the time I was doing actually the movie with Pedro Almodovar, I didn't read the script because Pedro is very intense, and so you should dedicate all the time to him, to say the least. And so, but then I went to Malaga, I started reading the script, and I think in page 28 I called him and I said, listen, I am loving what I am reading. If in page 114 is the same, I would like to just jump into the project and just start looking for the possibility of putting it together. You know, that was the initial thing. I thought that it was a very coherent, strong, different way to attack science fiction, more European than normally, not so much based on financing, but based on creativity. During the 4 years after that, we realized that that way of thinking was absolutely true. This movie has been done basically with blood, sweat, and tears, some tears too.
Was it easy to finance?
No, not really. It's not easy when you are trying to do something different. And Automata is a different science fiction movie. It's not the kind of science fiction that people used to do now. So that's the reason it's quite difficult. That's the reason that having Antonio as producer, not only as a star, also as producer, was the only chance we have to do a movie like that. We are doing classic science fiction movie in the way the people used to do it in the 60s and 70s, this kind of science fiction movie that have a background behind and is talking about the human being themes. And that's not easy. When you are going not in the right direction, it's not easy to have more. So it was great to have Antonio because he loves to do difficult things, and that movie was difficult to do, and he was all the time behind as producer. Remember the kind of movie we want to do. Don't change the point you want to get, and that's perfect for a director. Have a producer that is always thinking in do the right movie.
Yeah, basically, for me, producing is not so much having the capacity of putting the budget of a movie together, which it partially is too. But I can say this basically two things. One thing is just to provide the director that I decided to support the tools that he needs to make the movie that he needs to do, the story that we want to tell, and at the same time try to avoid all the contamination coming from all different sources, from distributors, exhibitors, even partners, to contaminate the vision. And how they can contaminate the vision? Well, trying to add more romance, trying to add more explosion, trying to add things that they consider in their minds that can be important for the commercial career of the movie. So trying to preserve the initial idea and protecting that is for me the second part of producing a movie in the way that we wanted to do it.
I'll open up to questions. Does someone already have a microphone? Okay. And please, a little bit toning down on the photographs. It's distracting to our talent, please.
Hello, I'm Georg Seitz from Bunte Magazine, Germany. Question to Antonio Banderas. We saw you on screen next to Melanie Griffith. When you look back at the days and weeks of filming, do you get sentimental feelings?
No, especially at that particular moment, I admire Melanie before we established our relationship. I admire her as an actress. She was, she is, and she will be a magnificent actress in the future. I am very thankful to her that actually she gave us her work for free. As she knew that I was working in the movie also for free. And Javier Bardem also put in the voice of the Blue Robot for free. They understood the nature of our production, and they just helped to do the movie that we wanted to do. It's also true that there is a scene at the end of the movie where she is, actually her voice is in the voice of a robot, Cleo, and she says, "Goodbye, Jack Vaughan." And Jack Vaughan, my character, says, "Goodbye, Cleo." And it closes, in a way, a relationship of 20 years that started in a movie as actor-actress and finished in another movie as actor-actress. Besides that consideration, the sentimentalism is something that I prefer to reserve for myself, and she does too. And we were in talk about our personal reasons of the decision that we took, and that's it. There is nothing else that I can say about.
Hello, my name is Rita. I'm from Finland. I was thinking making this in Europe. Do you think you would like to do more movies in Europe and perhaps in Spain, or to move from Hollywood here?
I wouldn't close the possibilities of working in Hollywood. In fact, last year there are 2 movies that have to open, actually 3, one with Terrence Malick, the SpongeBob, a movie for kids, and then I have the 33, also with Patricia Regan and produced by Mike Metaboy. Now, Mike Metaboy is the quintessential of the American producer, so I have that. But now, on Monday, I start shooting a movie in Santander, in my own country. So I want to balance that, and especially as a producer, the possibility of directing in the future. Also, that my eyes are put in Spain, definitely. In a way, the fact that my director opened a very Spanish abanico means exactly what I am talking about. No, I think that actually Hollywood became kind of a brand. The other day we were talking in San Sebastian about this. It's not a place anymore. There are very little productions made in Hollywood. People goes where they get tax cuts and stuff like that. Now Colombia is giving tax cuts, and Canada is doing so. Some states in America too. One of the studios of Millennium is actually in Louisiana, in a place called Shreveport. So, there are many different possibilities now. If you take big stars from Hollywood and you make a movie in New Zealand, or you make a movie here in Switzerland, just the presence of those actors, it will make the movie automatically look a product of Hollywood. You know what I mean? So it's changed. The paradigm is changing more and more every day, not only in that aspect, but also in the formats in which you show the movies. We are in a time of absolutely change, completely, in everything.
Gentleman in the middle.
Hi, my name is Andreas Wiseman from the trade magazine Screen International. I just wanted to ask you both, if possible, what your future projects might be, what's coming up for you. Maybe you could mention this project that you're shooting in Spain, what that is, and also same question for Gabe.
Yes, I started shooting now in Spain a project called Altamira. Now, Altamira is the name of a cave. In 1878, somebody by the name of Marcelino Sautuola, which is the character I will perform, discovered the first prehistoric paintings in a cave. Now that is very simple. That's something that can be told in National Geographic. But the idea of the movie is just to go a little bit further than the discovering of these caves. Why? Because at that time, and even in our times, that would create controversial. There was a time of Darwin. There was a time in which the church and science were completely opposite to each other. as the time in which ignorance was fighting reason. And so that created, at the time, real, documented, a huge explosion of opinions in many different directions that affected actually the life of this personal man with his family. He was married with a very fundamentalist Catholic woman. So that's what we are going to reflect. These issues that has to do with what I just said, religious versus science, and that is an alive thing still in our times. So that movie is going to be directed by a British director, though it's a Spanish production. His name is Hugh Hudson, and probably many of you know him already. And we are going to start principal photography on next Monday.
But I'm working in 2 new science fiction movies. Something similar to Automata. I mean, it's like a small science fiction movie from European people. And this one is about the loneliness in the space. It's a movie that happened in a space station in a moon in the limits of the solar system. So it's a movie about the loneliness in the space. And the other one is about an extraterrestrial contact inside the mind. And that's this kind of science fiction movie, small science fiction movie. We work for in the international market. It's a good way to work for strange, special ideas, not the science fiction. The science fiction is the people doing now. So that's my project.
And I will be the producer.